NBA senior insider Shams Charania. We have breaking news. Let's dispense with the pleasantries, Shams. What do you got?
Deloitte, sources tell me the Warriors have traded Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield for a new center, Kristaps Porzingis from the Atlanta Hawks. So after 4+ seasons in the Bay, after being a lottery pick with the Warriors, they have traded away Jonathan Kuminga. His run in Golden State is over, and the Warriors, listen, they were simply ready to move on from him. They get a high upside big man. If Kristaps Porzingis can be on the floor, they're excited about him. They had targeted him for the last few months, and key note, they were actually teammates. Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford back in Boston when the Celtics won a championship a couple of years ago, and Kuminga likewise has a lot of fans in that Hawks organization. They feel like there's a legitimate role for him under Quinn Snyder to really develop his game. He's still so young in his NBA career, but Jonathan Kuminga, his tenure's over. This guy right here is now going to be a Warrior. Okay, so now everyone wants to tip a domino here. What does that mean for Giannis? The Warriors have been in the mix to try to get him. Does that close the door on that trade or no? The Warriors' pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo after a week is over. They have moved on clearly with these moves, but my understanding is the Warriors made a pick-heavy offer last week, continued to have conversations going into this week with the Bucks, but they came to the belief over the last 24 hours, the Warriors did, that the Bucks were not going to be moving their two-time MVP at this trade deadline. We'll see if that holds true over the next 24 hours, but they decided they were going to move forward here. They've also traded Trayce Jackson-Davis to the Toronto Raptors for a 2026 Lakers second-round pick. They have not traded Draymond yet. Does that mean he's safe? Draymond Green, if there was a trade he was going to be a part of, it was going to be the Giannis trade. They have no other conversations with Giannis right now. Okay, there you go. Great stuff. Shams giving us the very latest here as trade deadline kicks off or finishes up tomorrow at 3 Eastern.
Okay, so now if you thought we weren't going to get Big Perk's thoughts on this, you are sadly mistaken. Perk, when it comes to a roster construction standpoint, Kristaps Porzingis now in Golden State, what does that do for the Warriors?
I forgot he still play basketball.
Come on, man. Come on.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. I haven't heard his name till tonight. It does absolutely nothing for me. I mean, when you talk about what we've been discussing over the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about pairing Steph with Giannis. Now all of a sudden it's just Kristaps Porzingis. That don't move the needle for me, and it damn sure don't move the needle for the Warriors and Steph Curry. This is just a move probably to free up money and free up cap space to make a bigger move this offseason. But the bigger winner in his picture is Jonathan Kuminga heading to the Hawks. They might just have the most athletic team in the NBA. And Shams is right. He is going to thrive under Quinn Snyder. He is going to thrive playing alongside Jalen Johnson, who's becoming one of the bright young stars in this game. And you have a vet over there in C.J. McCollum who is embracing his role. Right now, this team, the Hawks, are in the play-in tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak into the top 6 at some point, make a run this second part of the season, and cause a little hell when postseason comes.
Listen, man, Quinn likes to play with pace and spaces. That's exactly what Kuminga will bring to that franchise. Now, if I may, I want to take you back to about a year ago. Luka for AD trade that had folks wilding. I'm sorry. Look, you tweeted this, though. Dallas won in this trade. AD and Kyrie going to be special. Plus, they didn't have to give up Lively, Gafford, or P.J. Washington. God bless America. So, obviously, this was me being messy. I own that, Perk. But let's spin it forward. How does AD fit with Trae Young and the Wizards?
Hey, Trev.
What's up?
Hey, man, players mess up. You know what I'm saying? Players mess up. I can't be right all the time. But damn it, I wanted to see it. I thought they had something else. But AD going to Washington now, I actually love that for AD. Right? Going alongside Trae Young. People can say what they want about Trae Young for as, you know, him putting up meaningless stats. But one thing about it is big men thrive well with Trae Young. They're going to be a dangerous pick-and-roll threat. And finally, they're bringing some chocolate back to Chocolate City. AD is still an all-NBA, all-NBA, all-defensive type player when he's healthy. So, again, it's not going to be this season, but leaning into next season, I'm excited to see that duo play on the floor together.
Couple that with Alex Sarr down at the 5 position, man, they might be doing something in
DC.
DC.
You know what, Trev?
What's up?
You lucky I love that fit today, bro. because me and you better than that. But you know what? I'm going
right.
to own that tweet. I'm going to own that one.
You got to, but we love you regardless, all right? Perk, we appreciate you, dog. Now stand by for us. We got to holler at you about some
college hoops on this night. Plenty of movement on Wednesday ahead of Thursday's trade deadline at 3 Eastern time. Chris Paul headed to Toronto in a 3-team deal with the Clippers and Nets. However, it's reported that Paul could be on the move again before the deadline. CP3, the 12-time All-Star, plans to retire after this season. Kobe White and Mike Conley are headed to Charlotte from the Bulls in exchange for Colin Sexton, Ousmane Dieng, and future picks. Mason Plumlee also a part of this deal. He'll head to OKC. The Hornets have won 7 straight, set a game back for the last play-in spot. The Thunder also acquired Jared McCain from the Sixers in exchange for a 2026 first-rounder and 3 second-rounders. McCain was the 16th overall pick in 2024 out of Duke, but was playing less than 20 minutes per game in Philly this season. And after acquiring James Harden and Dennis Schroeder earlier this week, the Cavs are trading Lonzo Ball to the Jazz in a 3-team deal with the Hawks. Utah is expected to waive the veteran guard and allow him to become a free agent.
After being a part of the transaction that shook up the NBA world, Anthony Davis is on the move once again. Shams Charania reported that Dallas is sending the 10-time All-Star to the Wizards as part of an 8-player deal that lands Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, 2 first and 3 second-round picks with them. Now, the first thing everybody's going to point out is how Anthony Davis misses a lot of games. Fair. He missed 54 of a possible 83 with Dallas. Davis has failed to play at least 60 games in 5 of the last 6 seasons. But when he does play, it's something special. Since entering the league in 2012, he has 9 seasons, averaging 20 and 10, and could make it 10 this year. That's the most in the NBA during that span. Now, besides AD, the Wizards also traded for Trae Young last month. That makes the Wizards the 4th team ever to acquire multiple players during the season that were all.
Some huge breaking news. Shams Charania reporting that the Mavs are trading Anthony Davis to the Wizards a year after getting him in the Luka Doncic blockbuster. 8 players are involved in the deal, with Dallas also getting 2 first-round picks and 3 second-rounders. As we welcome in the man himself, Shams Charania, who broke this news. What more can you tell us about AD in this trade?
Christine, so the Wizards really saw an opportunity here, and they wanted to seize it. They entered the day. They inquired about Anthony Davis. They inquired about the Kings' Domantas Sabonis, and seeing, could we find a player at a high-caliber level and pair him with Trae Young? And they've got a stockpile of young players: Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly, and Bub Carrington. And the window was today. 2 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, a couple of young players, but they feel like at this cost, when Anthony Davis is healthy, and to pair him with Trae Young in the pick and roll and in the front court with Alex Sarr, they feel like in the Eastern Conference, starting next season, they can take that next step. This is a team that has obviously been rebuilding. They've been playing for a high draft pick the last couple of years. Well, now the deconstruction process has begun. This is a team now built around Trae Young and Anthony Davis.
I do want to mention that this season, AD and Trae Young have only played a total of 30 games combined, so we'll see where that leads them. All right, let's talk about the trade deadline. We're less than 21 hours away. Tell us the latest with some guys, starting with Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo has made it clear to those that need to know within the Bucks organization that he is ready for a new home, whether it's now or in the offseason. And Milwaukee has remained engaged with interested teams. I'm told the focus of those conversations have been primarily on Miami and Minnesota. But listen, General Manager John Horst and the Bucks ownership, they have to sift through the offers, and they have to land on the same page about whether they're going to make a trade now or in the offseason. It remains to be seen. And then elsewhere in the Western Conference, another former All-NBA player here, Ja Morant. The Grizzlies remain engaged with multiple teams interested in Morant. They've gotten 7 first-round picks after trading away Desmond Bane last summer and Jaren Jackson Jr. on Tuesday. So let's see what happens over the next 24 hours with Ja Morant. It's clear the Grizzlies are entering a full rebuild.
All right, in 20 games this season, Ja Morant averaging just over 20 points per game and 8 dimes. Shams Charania holding it down in Bristol. Thank you.
Left and right in the NBA, deadline is tomorrow. Chris Paul sent to the Raptors today as part of a 3-team trade with the Clippers and Nets. Toronto will not require CP3 to report to the team. Could trade him again before the deadline. Sixers dealing former first-round pick Jared McCain to the Thunder. Philly gets 4 picks back, including a first-rounder and 3 number 2s coming off injuries. McCain's production has taken a huge hit in his sophomore season. Still a great shooter. Kobe White returning to his home state of North Carolina. The Bulls have traded him to the Hornets. White has proven to be a consistent offensive option, averaging 20 points and 5 assists over the last 3 seasons.
Like now, because when we all woke up on Tuesday morning, this is what the league looked like, right? Jaren Jackson Jr. was in Memphis, Darius Garland was in Cleveland. Well, now, Jaren Jackson Jr. is headed to Utah. An all-star guard swap happened between Darius Garland and James Harden. The former MVP is headed to Cleveland. That's for you. And 1 year after arriving in Dallas, Anthony Davis, he's a Wizard, Harry. He is a member of the Washington Wizards. And the champs, they made a move. They traded for Jared McCain. But Kenny, you want to focus in on the Cleveland Cavaliers here, my friend.
Yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers, because early on when they made the trade for Dennis Schroeder, people were like, why is that happening? But also, now when you have James Harden, so all of a sudden, you replace James Harden with Darius Garland. And so all of a sudden now you have the lob threat that you have before, because he is one of the best lob throwers, James Harden, in the game. Now you have Donovan Mitchell, who gets double-teamed. You cannot double-team him anymore, because all of a sudden now if you double-team him, and they're going to leave James Harden open, and he's going to also have another lob threat with Allen, and Tyson is probably playing his best basketball ever. And then, which is really interesting, when Schroeder comes into the game, you think he's going to replace Harden? No, take out Mitchell. And now you run the point, and you let James Harden run the 2, and then all of a sudden you have a guy running the 2 that is accustomed to shooting on the catch and shoot. So now you have multiple options and multiple things. You start bringing in all of these guys, and you can just bring in anybody, and you can replace. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have improved their offensive prowess, without a doubt, with James Harden. Now, as good as Darius Garland is at this point in his career, James Harden is still a more electric and powerful player.
And the fact of the matter is, he's more available, Brian.
Yeah, look, James Harden is 10 years older, but he's played in a lot more games, and these decisions were really made to maximize the next 2 years. They want to maximize Donovan Mitchell. They got to get him into a contract extension later this summer. And I think the other thing is, they want to be able to give Donovan some protection around him. That's what this trade with Sacramento was about. The Jet talk there about Dennis Schroeder, that's also to help out Donovan, because he was playing a lot of point guard because Garland was missing so many games. And then Keon Ellis serves as a defender who can take some defensive pressure off both Harden and Donovan.
Well, this is the biggest thing, too, is that Donovan Mitchell's never gotten out of the second round. So they looked at a disappointing season so far in Cleveland. They needed help.
Right.
And this does speed up their window, but I'm with Kenny, I'm with Perk. I think adding James Harden, bigger, more durable. He can play lob game when Donovan Mitchell's out with Allen or Mobley. I think it's an outstanding pickup, and I think Cleveland just moved up the Eastern Conference.
Donovan Mitchell is on the clock. Donovan Mitchell is on the clock. I'm watching Cleveland do more and be more aggressive at trade deadlines and offseason than they were for LeBron James. Real talk. When it comes to putting him in position to be successful.
Well, they learned because LeBron left. They don't want Donovan to leave.
I understand that part, Wendy, but what I'm telling you is now you have a shooting guard and that's still averaging 25, a guy to set the table. And I hear a lot of people out there talking about James Harden, he folds in the playoffs. Look, he's the third option on this team. To Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. All you need for James Harden to do is to win you one playoff game each series.
Well, you know what?
He could do that.
And everybody says, well, are they going to fit together? Is he going to fit? He's fit with KD. He's fit with Kyrie. He's fit with Joel Embiid, Chris Paul, and Kawhi Leonard with the Clippers. James Harden is looking for somebody. He just said, I want to win a championship.
James Harden may not do great in Game 7s, but he knows how to change teams midseason. He's got a lot of experience doing that.
Well, and he's been very clear about what he wants to do here. He wants to win. He came out and said it to our Ramona Shelburne that his goal is to win a championship, and he sees Cleveland having an opportunity to do so.
Yeah,
so
he put himself in position.
Yeah, he did, and he's good at that. That's the moves that have happened. Perk, what's the move that everyone's waiting on that has not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Giannis domino has yet to fall, and I'm sure y'all saw this, but just in case, he spoke to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and he had this to say in part, quote, If you ask me, what do I really want? Deep down in my heart, Kenny, this is what he said. He said, I want to be a Milwaukee Buck until I retire and win a championship here. He continued, if that is not possible to happen, and if then you maybe realize that that's not the case, and maybe they're looking somewhere else, and that's not what they're trying to do, talking about the Bucks, then automatically you have to be in the place of if plans of what they're trying to do or weigh other options. It's normal. And this is really fascinating. He said, I always listen and trust, but what I'm trying to say, how many chances do I have left to win a championship? So you've got to be more careful and more urgent in every decision that you make moving forward. Gentlemen, hold your thoughts. Let's welcome in the busiest man in the business, Shams Charania. Shams, Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks, has the stances changed with these two, with these new comments here?
Malika, to put it plainly, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm told, has told the Bucks, communicated to the Bucks for a period of months now that he believes the time has come to part ways, and that has essentially forced the Bucks to listen to teams, to engage with teams, and remain in touch with teams here this week on the eve of the NBA trade deadline. That includes Miami, Minnesota, Golden State. But at the end of the day, General Manager John Horst and Bucks ownership have to sift through the offers and land on the same page about the big question, whether to execute a trade now or push this to the offseason. Even tonight, just moments ago, I talked to several different sources around teams involved, and there are certainly questions about whether Milwaukee is serious and genuine about pulling a move of this magnitude for this franchise at the deadline. There are obvious risk rewards right now that Milwaukee has to sift through, whether they do it now or wait in the summer. If they wait in the summer, Giannis gets basically an expiring year on his deal. He's got 1 year left. That gives him a little bit more say-so, a little bit more equity in terms of where he wants to end up and land. And the other side is Milwaukee is likely more playing toward lottery positioning in the second half. And if Giannis wants to play in the second half, that is a direct conflict with goals with both sides. So this is certainly a situation, even if it goes past the deadline, to monitor.
Okay, so we are going to be watching this for the next couple of hours and potentially the next couple of months. Shams, thank you very much for that insight. Kenny, help me make sense of this. What we're hearing from Giannis, the reporting, it all seems to be sort of going back and forth here.
Well, he obviously is letting you know that it's what they, not what I. It's a lot of they. However, there's a certain amount of players that I look at that are magnets, meaning LeBron James was a magnet. Steph Curry's a magnet,
sure.
Meaning people want to play with
Wemby
them.
now.
Wemby.
Yeah.
So look, Giannis is a magnet. Even being in a small market like Milwaukee, Dame Lillard was ecstatic about going to Milwaukee. So now, when you put this position out, the Milwaukee Bucks are forced. There is no comeback because now you're saying that the magnet might not want to be here or not be here. So your free agency, even in the summer, you can't attract people when you don't know the magnet is going to be there. And so without Giannis, they have now put themselves in a position where I think they have to trade him. Because if you had also said, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we bring another guy in here with Giannis, their phone would have rang as well. So they have put themselves now, to me, in a position of trading him at some point.
Haven't the Bucks done that, though? Haven't the Bucks done literally every single move?
But you can continue to do that because he's such a great player. You can still bring someone in.
I think James
like that.
Harden needs to meet up with Giannis and teach Giannis how to ask for a trade. Nobody gets themselves traded like James Harden, and Giannis can't handle this. He just needs to be clear. And he has not been clear, and that has given the Bucks an out.
That's the biggest thing. Malika just read his comment, Perk. To me, that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I love Milwaukee, but I want to win. They're not going to win this year. So that's clear. I agree with what Kenny just said. He's got to find a new place to go play because Milwaukee, that's done. That's a wrap.
That's dead bird, tall grass. You're absolutely right. But here's why I disagree with you at, Wendy. Right now, this is on the Milwaukee Bucks. Somebody need to actually call the police.
How's that working?
Let me tell you.
Working.
Hold on. Run an investigation because they holding the man hostage. The only reason that we have these reports right now is because Giannis is trying to be polite about this. He has went to those people behind closed doors and let it be known that he wants to be traded. Why are they not making the move?
Because he's not putting pressure on him. James Harden said, trade me. I'm not going to show up again to a game unless you trade me.
But that's not Giannis. Giannis.
And I'm saying that's what's led to this
But
situation.
Wendy, here's what I'm telling you. We're talking about a Giannis Antetokounmpo that was drafted, that came in and said, I want to win the MVP one day. I want to win a championship. Giannis actually cares about his legacy and cares about what people feel about him, and that organization knows that.
Well, back when he signed the contract extension and there was all this conversation about whether or not he was going to stay or not in Milwaukee, there was sort of an understanding that if he ever wanted to be traded, the Milwaukee Bucks would come to the table and do